And it doesn't matter whether you achieve success as an external yardstick set up by others. That is not really the important thing. The important thing is that you know honestly to yourself that you have done your best and you couldn't have done better. And whatever you achieve, that I think would be considered a success. So being Malay to me is essentially following the Islamic religion and being part of the Malay culture and also being part of the Malay community and trying to do my bit for the community. And my motto in life is just, I think it's also one of the things that we are enjoying to do, which is to try to make today better than yesterday and to try just to continually improve. I've been involved in the sciences in my professional life, but that goes back all the way to my childhood. Essentially, as far as I can remember, I've always been interested in maths and science. And with the encouragement and support from teachers and from my parents, that has always been my the thing that I pursue. So essentially, my life story is relatively simple because I sort of knew what I wanted to do right from young, which means I'm always been very interested in maths and science. So that that makes it easier because in Singapore everything revolves around like the academic, your academic work. So essentially this fits in very well with that. So that opens doors. So Alhamdulillah, I got some scholarship. So that would allow me to even pursue my studies overseas without putting on a financial burden on my parents or family. And essentially, even at the tertiary level, Alhamdulillah, I find it quite smooth going because everything that I did was essentially out of my own interest. So yeah, right from bachelor's to PhD, all along my goal was to be involved in a professional way in science and maths. So that's why I ended up teaching at the university after finishing my PhD. And essentially that's where I've been all along. So this is my first job and this is my only job. And I essentially enjoy what I'm doing every day, which is to teach the future generations of scientists. And also this job is also unique because it involves teaching and research. So that's the other part, because by doing research you push the frontier of knowledge in your area, so it's not something that goes stale because you're always trying to find out something new and discover something new. So that's my life story. This is pretty straightforward. What makes me proud about the Malay community is that we live in a multi-racial society in which we are quite a small minority, but and we face quite a number of challenges, but on the whole we are a resilient community and we pull ourselves together to help each other. we have a certain amount of like graciousness, and we put quite a high priority on being very gracious and polite, even though we live in a very hyper competitive environment or society. So that's something that we haven't lost. And we also because of our grounding in our religion, we also do not get totally lost in the modern materialism and just chasing after material wealth as the final goal. So we have something higher to aim for, and this material wealth is just a means to get to our higher goal, which is to be a better human being, to help others, to be the best that we can be based on the talents that Allah has given to us, and to use this talent to help others and to try to make good deeds. So this foundation helps us to keep us focused and grounded, even though everything around us is swirling and we have all this pursuit of material wealth, always something that tends to can be seen to be quite overwhelming at times. Honestly speaking, so I'm very honored, but honestly speaking, I'm very surprised, because I think in the area of science and technology, there are many up and coming new names, and they have achieved quite a lot of good things. So I'm a bit surprised because I'm from slightly an older generation, so I had my day in the sun like maybe 2 decades ago, and although I've been rather consistent, but I don't think I have done anything spectacular in recent years. So I've just been doing my research and my teaching, and just consistently doing some new things technically, which is quite difficult to explain, but I've been publishing and writing papers and books. But so honestly, it's been more like a consistent effort, so there's nothing really spectacular or anything to warrant this award, but in any case, I'm very, very, very honored to have been nominated for it. Okay, I would like to dedicate this to especially my family members, my parents, my siblings, my wife, and even my in-laws, because they helped me, because without all this support around you, there is no way you can carry out your job and be focused at it, because there are many other things that you have to take care of. And my family members have always been supportive, so they help like ease the burden so that I can focus it, be more focused on my work. And especially my parents, so because they've been with me since I was very young, so so they are my first motivators. I mean, they're the ones who push me to achieve, to chase after my dreams and my goals. Okay, so for that, I'm really thankful to their support. So I'm pretty sure that everyone in our community will have their own paths or occupations or talents that they're pursuing, or studies or whatever pursuits. And it's important that each one of us put in our real best effort and be honest about it. I mean, and it doesn't matter whether you achieve success as as an external yardstick set up by others, that is not really the important thing. The important thing is that you know honestly to yourself that you have done your best and you couldn't have done better, and whatever you achieve, that I think would be considered a success. And obviously in this present age, there are many distractions, so like things like gadgets and all that. So it's very important to be very focused. But at the same time, because of the interconnectedness of today's world, there are also a lot of resources. So for instance, in studies, there are lots of resources that you can find available at your fingertips. And you can view videos, and you can read ebooks, all even on your smartphone. So resource-wise, we are much richer. I mean, you can tap in, and you can use all sorts of social media to get in touch with people. So there are lots of tools, but at the same time, all these interconnectedness is also a source of distraction. So you just have to make use of these tools in the best possible way, and just put in your honest effort. So whether one achieves a certain grade or that kind of success is really not the most important thing. But having done your best, whatever result that you get is, if it's your level best, that's your success. But of course, it's something that we can always improve upon in future, and learn from mistakes from the past. So yeah, just continually trying to improve and trying to learn from one's mistakes. Obviously, if you want to be the best, you have to have sufficient knowledge in your particular area, and you have to try to benchmark yourself against the best. I mean, say in my area, you try to benchmark yourself against researchers from around the world, and what are the like what kind of research findings you have to be at the forefront. So, and how do you do that? Well, by continually being you have to like be up to date with what is the latest development, and at the same time you must cultivate your foundational knowledge in that particular area. You have to be very strong, and it's something that will not come immediately. Okay, it's something that you have to grow and you have to develop over years, and you have to interact with people, both within and within the country, and also internationally, because it's only through interaction that you learn of the developments, and you try to find out new skills from others. So that's, I guess that's the way to try to be the best, which means that you have to inculcate a very strong foundation in the area that you are involved in, be it like say photography, or in science, or in sculpture, or anything. You have to be on par as far as the techniques and knowledge is concerned. And if you're already quite on par, then you can forge your own direction, because at the highest level you have to do something that is uniquely your signature. My wish and hope for the Malay community is that they would keep up with the fast changing world, because there are certain new skills that we need to acquire, and I hope that members of our community, some of them would be in these new areas. For instance, I could say one of the new areas are in like artificial intelligence and data analytics, because we live in a world where there is an avalanche of data, and these data can potentially be very useful if you can manage and use this data for some and extract some useful information. But at the moment, it's a fast evolving field, because we have all this data, and to connect all this data to use it in a useful way is this new area of machine learning and data analytics, which I think will be very important in the next few years. So I do hope that our community will be in step with the latest development, and there will be people who are cultivating or inculcating their expertise in these new areas like artificial intelligence and data analytics and even robotics or advanced manufacturing. So these are some new areas. And for instance, the government release every now and then a roadmap in the next 10 to 15 years. What are the new technologies that Singapore would be like focusing on? And it would be useful if some of our the people in our community are aware of these developments, because these are like looking at trends coming up in the future, and these trends will become more important. They'll become a source of employment and business in the coming years. So it's good to be aware of all these developments, and if it suits one's interest, it'd be useful to align maybe your career or your educational goals in these particular areas, because these are the ones where there will be a lot of demand in the coming years.